protected. Throws to Austin for the touchdown!
Welcome back to 5-Star Matchup. If you like what we do, make sure you subscribe now and join up over at patreon.com/5SMU to support the show and our awesome Discord server. Well, here we are, folks. Week 18. Ravens, Steelers. It's the hardest hitting rivalry in all of sports with hats and t-shirts on the line. And it begins, as it always does, with a kick. Ravens start with the ball and looking to make a statement immediately. They hand it to the bruiser himself, King Henry, who rockets through the hole for a giant gainer. And boy, oh boy, doesn't this just immediately feel like every single important Steelers game of the last 8 years? Penalty takes a little of the edge off, but not for long. 3rd and 1, Duggar takes the cheese and Action Jackson yanks it and dashes for a huge 3rd down conversion, and the Ravens are already well into Steelers territory. Unfortunately for the home crowd though, the Ravens trust their QB and go for it in no man's land, and he finds a wide the open Devontae Walker, who strolls in for a leisurely score, and the Ravens strike first. Hey, you know what? We've been here before, right? Enter Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers' DK-less offense, and they're getting it going with a play-action screen to Jay that goes for next to nothing, but a good old swipe of the face mask buys him a chunk, and just like the Ravens before them, the Steelers are immediately inside enemy territory. Facing a 3rd and 11 though, Aaron finds nobody, so he hucks a prayer that falls incomplete, and unlike the Ravens before them, the Steelers' notoriously slow starting offense starts slow again, and they punt it right back to the boys in white. Shout out to the old man Godzilla Hayward, who drags Henry down for his first of several great plays on the day, and Lamar finds himself in 2nd and long, and he fires incomplete deep down the sideline, but wait just a minute, there's some laundry on the field. At first glance, I did think this was an obvious roughing the passer, but upon closer inspection, this is a clear and obvious tripping that should be 15 going the other way. But hey, we'll gladly save our luck with the football gods for a little later, eh? A couple plays later on a 3rd and 6, Lamar gets a little time but cannot find a target, and it's Area 51 Nick Herbig grappling Jackson and taking him down for the drive-ending sack. Back to Rodgers, and he's getting it started with a little flick of the wrist to team MVP Kenneth Gainwell. Imagine me telling you that in August, and the Steelers are on the move. Pick a pair of outs to MVS, followed by Gainwell, gets him close, but short of the sticks, and in his first controversial call of the day, Mike decides to go for it on 4th, and the now true brotherly shove comes up woefully short of the sticks. Now, I actually have no problem going for this, I won't criticize this, but we're getting a little out of control with the Spartan play. This is almost a full 2 yards, you need to give yourself some room for error. Go for it, but run it or throw it to one of the backs. Way too far to push for a tush, even if it's your brothers. Ravens take it over and get going with a plodding, methodical run for Henry, and we head already into the 2nd quarter. 2nd goes nowhere though, and on 3rd, would you look at the big rook number 99 chasing down Action Jackson and take him down short of the sticks? Bright future ahead for Derek Harmon if you ask me. Just a tremendous draft pick, and I'd expect to see him in black and gold for a long time to come. Ravens take the consolation kick and extend their lead to 10-0. Hey, better than 14-0, right? Back to Rodgers, and he finds himself almost immediately in a 3rd and long, and he fires to the Steelers' number 1 man, Kenny G, who makes some sweet jazz on this play for a badly needed first. Listen here, there are a few things in this world you can count on, but one of them is that you can always get the ball to Jaylen Warren, and good things will happen. He darts his way through traffic on a nifty catch and run for a bunch, and it sure feels like the Steelers are fixing to respond. 1st and 10, Art Smith dials up a decadent little play-action bomb to his favorite player, Jonnu Smith, who finds himself wide open, and Aaron Rodgers sails it. Are you kidding me, Aaron? The 42-year-old future Hall of Famer just flat out misses a throw he makes 999 times out of 1,000, and the ball falls to the turf with a resounding thud. Just like my hopes for winning this game. Agony. A couple plays later on 3rd and medium, Rodgers does his best 2021 Ben Roethlisberger impression by waddling like a turtle on his way to no gain, and the Steelers trot out their trusty old Boz for a long kick to get on the board, and you already know, even from 57, Boz is... Steelers get on the board, 10-3. Back to the Birds now, and Lamar does his own Aaron Rodgers impression, slowly trotting towards the line until Ramsey takes him down for next to nothing. Penalty knocks him further back. Quietly excellent Highsmith pulls out one of the best individual efforts you will ever see here as he covers the route ever so slightly, jumps to prevent a throw, and eventually circles around to take down Jackson to all but kill this drive. Just an awesome play from the always underrated stud. Steelers take over, but without the artist formerly known as DeKalen, they can find no separation, and Aaron goes duck, duck, duck for a deeply fruitless drive. Gonna call out NBC for this atrocious, obviously AI-generated Lamar and Harbaugh graphic here. They probably used enough water to keep the Heinz Field turf hydrated for 5 years, generating this bullshit that adds nothing to the broadcast and likely steals IP from talented photographers and broadcasters. But hey, what do I know? Stick to football, Steve. Ravens get it moving with another gash up the gut for Henry that makes me feel exactly like that AI Lamar, and the Ravens are right back in business. Rush goes nowhere on second, but Lamar finally remembers who he is on third, and it's all coming back to me now. Laundry on the field bails the Steelers out. He really did not need to do this, and the Steelers buy Aaron one more shot before the half. Huge drive here as the Steelers could pull off a game-changing double dip if they play their cards right. Steelers come out in the I formation just as God intended, and they toss it to the brand new 2026 electric meatball Jalen Warren, who gets them a ton of breathing room and gives the Steelers life as time ticks in the second. A couple plays later, Rodgers finds himself in a 3rd and long, and in a game of mimicry, he does his best Lamar Jackson impression. The old man himself gallops gracefully for 20 freaking yards. Are you kidding me? Why not chuck another gorgeously blocked screen to the MVP and keep things moving? Next play, and is that a slant? Rodgers rifles one for another first, this time to kill a cow, and yes please, may I have another? Gainwell gains well on another, but comes up short of the sticks in bounds, forcing the Steelers to take their second timeout, but it's all good as they've got plenty of time. Third and gotta have it, Rodgers goes to his old pal MVS, who snags it but cannot get out of bounds, and they're forced to take their final timeout. My pulse accelerating now. Rodgers tries one to Calvin, no. Another to Muth, no. But a flag gives him a free first on the one, but no time to play with. With just 2 seconds left, the Steelers face another all-or-nothing decision. Trot out Boz for the layup 3 to cut the lead, or keep it in the hands of the offense to try and tie. Tomlin, ever aggressive on this cold January night, elects to keep it with the offense, and yeah, this one does not gain well. I don't know here, man. I know it's easy to say after the fact, but even in the moment, I felt the field goal was the right move. I can appreciate Tomlin stepping out of his comfort zone tonight and going aggressive, but I do think being that the Steelers were getting the ball out of the half, why not take the points and change the math of this thing? Score remains unchanged as we head in for maybe our final orange slices and pretzel rods of the season. And you might ask yourself, why would I support your Patreon now that the season is almost over? And to that I would say, our Discord server is unbelievably active at all times of the year. Come join us now at patreon.com/5SMU. Or don't, whatever, I don't care. Roll the game. We're back, and so is Jalen Warren, who's rolling downhill for another chunk on first. How is this one not PI? He's literally hitting him in the head. Are you allowed to do that? But Kyle Hamilton leaves the game, though, after the friendly fire, and suddenly this game is starting to feel a little bit different, isn't it? 3rd and 10, and can you do me a favor and just watch 88 at the top of the screen? This is tight end play. Pat finds his space and inhabits it long enough for Aaron to fire him a laser right down the seam for the huge 3rd down conversion. A couple plays later, and it's a rare sheesh play for your boy Aaron freaking Rodgers, who's just dotting them up now. He connects with more than a Thielen for an electric 28-yard pitch and catch deep inside the business zone. And for my money, that's Aaron's best throw of the day. And no, I don't think the 42-year-old has lost anything from the arm. My goodness. 2nd and 6, he flicks one out to Warren because why not? But he gets stopped short of the sticks despite his Herculean effort. But worry not, Steel Faithful, because on 4th and 1, you can always slam directly into Connor Hayward's ass for a yard. And these days, it's Godzilla himself doing the slamming, and because you're never stopping that, they go with it again, and Connor tumbles into the gold end zone for the equalizing score. Steelers finally pull even with their most hated rival, and we officially find ourselves in a new game. By the way, anyone notice this drive literally took half the quarter? Back over to the Ravens now, and forget Travis Hunter, we got a two-way player of our own. It's Slammer and Cameron rushing Jackson to force the incompletion and 3rd and long.
Lamar Jackson had it rejected, intercepted on the deflection.
Game change. The Eater of Worlds, Trentavious Jordanian Watt hoovers in the tipped pass by way of Killa Cam and Alex the Great. The Steelers take over deep in Baltimore territory with a chance to suddenly jump in front of the Ravens. Rodgers gets them started with a flip out to the meatball for a few, followed by a run by the very same number 30, and the Steelers are threatening. Another run for Jay pulls them even closer, but the Steelers are frustratingly forced to use an early second half timeout to get their call in. Hate to see it, but hey, if you get it right, all is forgiven, right? Well, nothing here on 3rd, and Rodgers hucks a prayer to Muth that flies incomplete. This is 100% pass interference, mind you, but I'm not one to complain about such things. Steelers trot out Boz for the consolation kick and pull out in front by the narrowest of margins. Pittsburgh 13, Baltimore 10. Ravens get rolling with another chunk for Henry, who was admittedly mostly bottled up in the second half. Second down goes nowhere as Highsmith slams Keaton Mitchell, and on third, Lamar's pass is swatted by Logan Lee, and the Ravens give it right back to the suddenly momentum-owning Pittsburgh Steelers. Artie hits him with yet another mooth, and we head into the fate-deciding fourth and final stanza. Rodgers gets him started with a flick out to beam me up, followed by another to the Jazz man, but the mooth gets called for an obvious pick, didn't need to do it, and the Steelers find themselves in 3rd and long. Worry not though, because where there's a Rodgers, there's a Valdez-Scantling, and MVS grabs arguably Aaron's worst pass of the day for the huge conversion to get the Steelers out of the hole. This is one of those plays that will get lost in the wash of an epic showdown, but could have been a pick or at least a drive ender. Great job by the vet, MVS. Unfortunately, the next third doesn't go as well, and Rodgers goes down like a sack of 42-year-old bricks, shaking his fractured wrist in pain as I ponder life itself. Alright, I honestly have no idea if this will be popular or unpopular take, but it's time to retire Renegade, just being honest. These days, it almost seems like a curse more than a blessing, doesn't it? Because of course he does. Lamar gets him started with a deep one to Flowers, but runs by Henry and the QB go next to nowhere. Shout out to the front seven, who I thought was great outside of the first quarter tonight. And the Ravens find themselves in a 3rd and schmedium at midfield, and
3rd and 4. Steelers bring 4. Highsmith is there. Jackson got away. Now reloads and throws to Flowers downfield. He's got it for a touchdown!
oh no. Highsmith and Benton combine for an all-time whiff of epic proportions, and Lamar spots his number one man, Zay Flowers, deep down the middle, somehow guarded by Patrick Queen of all people, and he drops it in the bucket for perhaps a franchise-altering score as the Ravens pull in front 17-13. That field goal before half sure would look nice on the board right about now.
A 21-year veteran of the National Football League, Aaron Rodgers, as he has many times before, stares down a fourth quarter deficit as his pulse barely registers.
The 42-year-old veteran gets his team moving with a pass out wide to Valdez-Scantling, followed by a toss to his trusty running back Jaylen Warren, who somehow wades through traffic across midfield, and the Pittsburgh faithful can collectively feel the balloon of optimism inflating with each passing play. A false start by, of all people, the team's MVP on 3rd and short turns it to 3rd and medium, but the quarterback is undeterred. He would refuse to play his last game on this day. On the most meaningful 3rd down of the day thus far, number 8 rifles one down the middle to number 88, the one they call Mooth, who catches it in stride and tumbles deep inside the Ravens' red zone as time takes under 6 minutes to play, the AFC North Championship hanging in the balance. The Steelers, forced by communication issues, are forced to burn yet another second half timeout as the frustrated quarterback storms off. He lines up on a 2nd and goal, firing it to the do-it-all Jonnu Smith, who is met immediately, setting up an all-important 3rd and goal. Again unable to communicate, the veteran quarterback, grasping the importance of the moment, takes a timeout, but leaves his team with none remaining. That's it. It all comes down to this for the men in black and gold. And who else? Rodgers turns and hands it to the Steelers' newly crowned team MVP, Kenneth Gainwell, who as usual gains well, and the Steelers pull ahead yet again. Truly an expert drive led by the masterful Aaron Rodgers, the likes of which this town hasn't seen since the dying embers of Ben Roethlisberger's career, and they find themselves ahead of their hated rivals 20-17 with less than 4 minutes to go. It's back to the Ravens, and it's another run stuff for the monstrous Cameron Hayward, who along with Rodgers provided the ultimate old man performance when the Steelers needed it the most. And that sets up our 5-star.
Shot. 3rd and 1. Fake to Henry Jackson. Shot downfield. Zay Flowers again. Zay Flowers inside the 20. He's gonna go.
The Ravens snooker the Steelers' hapless pass defense yet again, freeing up Flowers this time for an even longer, even more consequential touchdown pass as the Ravens pull back in front by 4, 24-20. Soak it in, young folks, because this game is becoming a classic right before our eyes. Still 2:20 on the clock, not a soul in Akershire on this night believed Aaron Rodgers was ready to call it a career. Not tonight. Not like this. The veteran quarterback calls the play in the huddle and fires quickly to his number one man in the absence of Metcalf, Calvin Austin, who snares it and bounces to midfield as we hit the 2-minute warning. The Steelers have 49 yards to go in 2 minutes. Do they have enough? 1st and 10, Rodgers finds another veteran, Adam Thielen, for a handful, followed by another screen to Gainwell, who slips the tackle and bolts deep into Baltimore territory as time ticks under 90 seconds to go. On 1st and 2nd down, however, Rodgers can find no one, setting up the most important 3rd down of the season for Mike Tomlin's Steelers and our rare 2nd
5-star.
Play of the game.
Rodgers protected. Throws to Austin for the touchdown!
Holy shit. Calvin Austin breaks this defender's ankles on a sick double move and finds himself wide open. Rodgers drops the dime in stride, and I'm not afraid to say it. The 2025 Pittsburgh Steelers just recorded their most memorable moment, 16 games and 59 minutes into their season. Wow. Boz jabs it through for the... Because the football gods apparently want me to make an appointment with my cardiologist, the always perfect Boswell somehow misses the extra point, leaving the Steelers' lead to a measly 2, opening the door for Baltimore to win on just a field goal with a minute left to play. How? Why? And ouch! Keaton Mitchell nails a good return on the kickoff, and the Steelers' season is hanging by a thread as the Ravens are already nearing the infinite range of Justin Tucker. Oh wait, that's right. Well, it's not much, but at least it's something. Lamar can find no one on 2nd and 7 here, chucking it out of bounds to live another down. On 3rd and 7 now, it's the quick to the stick Nick Herbig crashing in on the shifty quarterback, who evades him just long enough to toss the hot potato out of bounds, setting up yet another all or nothing in this game of all or nothings. 4th and 7, Pittsburgh brings the heat, but Watt can't quite get there, and Lamar lofts this one high and deep to Isaiah, who likely makes the game-sealing catch in front of Jalen Ramsey to put the Ravens firmly within chip shot range. Talk about a gut punch after fighting back once, twice, 3 times for Rodgers and the Steelers. With no timeouts left in the bank, they are left to the will of the football gods as Baltimore chews the clock and sets up one final all-or-nothing kick on the very last play of the 2025 NFL season, and our first ever third
5-star
play of the game.
For the final spot in the playoffs, Tyler Luke from 44. Snap good. Holman, the kick is no good. It is wide right.
He missed it. He really missed it. Somehow, some way, the football gods, or perhaps regular God, depending on what you believe, willed Mike Tomlin's Pittsburgh Steelers to victory on this cold January night as Loop's kick sails wide right. And say it with me, your Pittsburgh Steelers are AFC North champions. For just the second time in the 5-star era, the Steelers capture the all-important hats and t-shirts as champions of their division, punching their tickets to the postseason, sending their fiercest rivals into an early offseason. Somewhere, landfill is going to be packed with Ravens 2025 AFC North Championship gear, courtesy of Fanatics. But quoth the Raven, nevermore. I'll be the first to admit that I lost faith in this team mid-season during their annual collapse. They lost games they could have won, sure, but in looking at the season in its now totality, it's hard to argue they exceeded expectations. Nobody headed into this season thought the Steelers would be raising a banner as division champs. Few thought Aaron Rodgers, turning 42 during the season, was going to be capable of leading this team in the way that he did, except, of course, the Steelers themselves. Time and time again, the difference for this team, this season, was that at the ends of games, they had the better, more experienced quarterback. When you look around at the rest of this roster, the defense underperformed expectations mightily, ranking 17th in points and 26th in yards, numbers that before the season would have seemed shockingly low for the league's highest paid unit. Still, they found ways to win with timely turnovers, clean offensive execution led by their savvy QB and two-headed monster at running back, and yes, the steel resolve of their embattled, but on this day triumphant, head coach, Mike Tomlin. And for all of that, I tip my cap to the 2025 Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm proud of my team for proving me wrong, and I'm glad that they did. Still though, the real question comes next Monday at 8 o'clock when they host their first playoff game in 5 years. Do the Steelers have it in them to exert their will on the league's best defense in the Houston Texans' vaunted unit? Will they come out flat and conservative, finding themselves in another deep hole as they have for every playoff game since the 2016 AFC Championship? Or will they finally give me a playoff win to make an episode out of? Well, that's up to them, isn't it? On to Houston. Here we go. All right, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't expect any of this. I didn't. Let's go, Steelers. Let's go. We're winning a playoff game. Fuck it. Let's go. We got this. Here we go.